All right, welcome to another edition of the Jacques Talk podcast, and it's a pleasure of mine right now to be visiting with an athlete we've been covering for many years now, and I always told him no matter if he played a down of college football, he was going to be a huge success in life. Lindsey Scott. Lindsey, great to see you.
Good to see you.
And, man, as we're sitting here right now, Lindsey and Nicholls State just put on a show, and I mean a show, scoring 75 points against Incarnate Word. You're just having the time of your life right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to be playing football, sport I've been playing since I was little. Every opportunity I take it and, go to the fullest. So I'm thank God for this opportunity to come to Nicholls and play with a group of amazing guys.
So I think I glanced at the stats. Lindsey threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And ran for 1.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 touchdowns accounted for. What's it like to play in this offense? I mean, you guys scored 87 in your first game. You probably could have scored 100 today. You had 55 at halftime.
This offense is really amazing because we have a lot of great weapons at wide receiver, but even when the pass isn't working like we wanted to, we have great running backs. Our starting running back was out today, and the backup came in. I think he rushed for 50-something yards, 2 touchdowns. So that's a big deal when you have somebody come off the bench and produce like that. It makes our job a lot easier to pass the ball.
Yeah. And this team so far, you put up big numbers. You had the wake-up call against Sam Houston State, but today you were foot on the pedal to the metal again, bouncing back.
Yeah. Our motto this week was bounce back too. Sam Houston, that wasn't us. That wasn't Nicholls football. And we had the bye week to kind of evaluate the things that we did wrong. And we had the game week this week to fix those things. So we did a great job of, evaluating and just attacking the issues and then coming out and doing exactly what the game plan was.
Lindsey, I enjoyed coming to this game today. I saw a lot of people in the stands having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of people cheering. I heard a college band playing. These are things I haven't always heard in the previous months during this funky COVID, deal. But how are you enjoying this town and going to school here at Nicholls?
I love it. There's so much. This town is family oriented. Coming from bigger schools where it can be a little more business. You walk into a small grocery store and people recognize you, and they're proud of you and the things that you do and putting this community together. A lot of people are out there having fun, even in the heat of the sun, to see smiles on people's faces and, a little bit of sweat.
What do you think of the spring football? I think I kind of hope this is a one-time thing, but I'm enjoying it at the same time. It's kind of it's neat and new, and
it's definitely interesting. Coach Thibodaux told us this is history, the first Nicholls football season in the springtime. So it's definitely interesting. A little bit hotter than it would be in the fall sometimes, but we're adjusting well. But it's nice. Only FCS is playing right now, all eyes on us. So it's we appreciate it a lot.
Lindsey, I can always tell the difference between fall video and spring football video because of the wind. You can just hear the gusting of the wind, and today the flagpole was just whipping. The flag was whipping today. It was a windy day. I was impressed by how well you threw the ball.
Yeah, I tried to make it an emphasis to kind of keep the ball kind of low on the deep balls. If you throw it too high, that wind's going to take it. There was one ball that I threw to Dejan where I threw it a little too high, and the wind kind of pushed it back a little bit. But other than that, I think I did a good job of keeping them low. When you throw intermediate routes, it's a little bit easier to cut through the wind. But it was very windy today.
Take me back to when you're leaving Zachary High School.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, I think LSU had Felipe Franks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He decommitted.
Mm-hmm.
And there was maybe a feeling, there was kind of a debate,
Mm-hmm.
Is LSU really interested in Lindsey Scott,
Mm-hmm.
or are they just got to cover their you-know-what and get a quarterback in the class?
Right.
So now 5 years, 5 years we're looking back? 6?
I'll say 4.5. Just feel young.
4.5 years looking back. How do you look back on that?
One thing I've learned going to 2 SEC schools is it's a business, These are coaches' jobs and livelihoods, and they got to do things to protect their family and their jobs and in the best interest of their team. So I was extremely thankful for the opportunity to go to LSU. I'm not going to really say what I thought that offer was, but I'm blessed to go there. I met amazing friends, in Foster Moreau, Danny Edlin, Caleb Lewis, Jalen Williams, people that I want to invite to my wedding someday. So I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm gonna leave it there.
Because you were committed to Tulane at the time, weren't you? Weren't you committed to Tulane?
Syracuse,
that's right. I remember Tulane was trying to.
Yeah, Tulane was trying, and I probably should have showed Tulane a little bit more love. I kind of did them a little dirty those couple of years, but.
Well, you wouldn't be here today then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the winding path there. And I was kind of thinking about, Lindsey didn't get to play at LSU, but you were around Leonard Fournette, you were around Jamal Adams, Tre'Davious White. I guess you had a chance to really spend a year with some pretty cool guys.
I mean, it's cool to look back on those things because I kind of take the preparation that they had and kind of instilled it in myself. You know, I mean, I was in a room with you know, people that have won Super Bowls, people who are, you know, doing great things on the NFL level, and that's a level that I aspire to be at. So it's nice to see it firsthand, especially at a young age when I'm still learning and still getting around the curve. So.
Yeah, and the junior college thing, it was kind of like what I saw today. I mean, you were balling out and winning a lot of games, and you won a championship there. What was that experience like for you?
Junior college was great. Junior college, the football was great, but the area was a little, scuba was, you know, isolated. I remember me and Kirk Merritt would have to ride about 45 minutes to Meridian just to, you know, get some Chick-fil-A, you know. But it was great. It taught me a lot about football and loving the game, because in JUCO you don't really have the luxuries as, you know, as LSU or Missouri. So you have to really love football to kind of put yourself through that. And it really taught me and made me appreciate football a lot more than I did. When people say MCC, the first thing they start talking about Netflix, but it's really a group of guys and a group of brothers that took a quarterback in who had only been there 2 weeks before the first game, and you know, they really took me in and made sure I was comfortable. And that's how we built the bond. So that's how my experience has been.
Missouri, you go up there, and then you end up being on the same team as Drew Lock and everything. I went to Missouri this year when LSU played up there. Very nice campus, a huge campus. I didn't realize how many students went to school.
Yeah, it's very big, very big. Missouri was great. It was nice because it was the first time that I got out the South and kind of witnessed a different culture. And living in snow, you know, and like just like LSU, I met amazing guys that, you know, in Drew Lock, Albert Okwebunam, you know, Paul Adams, a lot of people that are on the NFL level, that even more resources that I can, you know, talk to and use their experience to kind of attach to myself. So I love Missouri. I wish things could have worked out. That's another issue, you know, another topic that I don't want to get too deep into because, you know, it is what it is. But it was great. I loved it there.
Yeah. I went up there when it was nice. I think it was early October, you know, but they're in the SEC, but it's like they don't belong in the SEC, you know, like the weather and the.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, I feel like they still have like the Big 12 kind of, you know, ambiance. But I'll tell this one story. The first winter workouts, we're in the locker room and we're about to go out, and I'm checking my phone. I'm like negative 15 degrees. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, we're about to go out there and work out. They're like, yeah, let's go. Freezing my butt off. I mean, the turf was literally breaking. It was cracking up. I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
So you come to Nicholls, and so when you come to Nicholls, you can't play right away, right? You got to practice again for like half a year or more?
It was about half a year, yeah. I mean, even more since, you know, they kind of pushed the COVID deal back, but, I mean, that was good for me. I think I didn't really need to jump into it real, you know, quickly. Chase was still in his last year. I really kind of sat back and took notes on how he led the team and how he interacted with all the individuals, you know, hoping that when it was my time that I could, you know, kind of do it as well as him, because, I mean, he's turned this program around. He was a 4-year starter and did a lot for Nicholls. So he was definitely a guy that I enjoyed watching that kind of first season I had to sit out.
So as we're sitting here next week, a big game against McNeese State and Ed Ogeron's son and all that, and then they're gonna play a playoff, right? We're gonna have a playoff here in the spring and all that, and then Lindsey is gonna have the 2021 season in the fall as well. So he's gonna have like an NFL type season here,
16 years.
What, 18, in a calendar year.
Yeah,
you know. So,
looking forward to that. I
mean, do you kind of feel like, you know, the man upstairs? You know, you go through some tough times, but then he grants you, hey, look, I'm going to give you 2 seasons in one here. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's done an amazing job with my path. There's a lot of lessons that I've learned that maybe if I played football as a freshman or sophomore, I could have used those lessons. So I think God's timing is always perfect, and I'm so glad. People ask me this all the time, you know, like, are you mad that you went from school to school? No, I'm so grateful for my journey. Because I've learned things that I can take down to my kids and my kids' kids, you know. And yeah, it was hard, but that's the essence of football, you know. If you really love it and it's hard, you're gonna stick to it. So.
Yeah, because you a while ago in the press conference here with the rest of the media, you talked about that, how there were some times you're like, man, this, you know, come on, you know, I deserve a break, right? I deserve better or whatever. You can go down that ego path. But you said you always had somebody texting you encouragement.
And like I said, God's time is always perfect. I mean, there were times at, like, in Missouri where I was sitting in my room just kind of contemplating on, what should I do? And then I get a text from, like Foster, or I get a text from, Kelton Hollins, from, Zachary. And it's just like, wow, like, I'm stuck in the spot, and he sends, one of my closest friends to kind of get me out that hole. So that support is amazing, and I appreciate it. And every person that's always checked on me, I thank you, and I love you, and I appreciate it so much.
As you're enjoying this flourishing career here at Nicholls, how many of those people you're hearing from now?
A whole lot.
Yeah,
a lot. And even some people that I didn't hear from before. But it's nice to have that support and see that people really care about you and your career and all the hard work you put in.
Yeah. There's gonna be somebody out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, he should have stayed at LSU.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, Joe Burrow and all these other things that happen.
Yeah.
Your path, and I know a lot of people are proud of you in the job that you're doing. How do you feel about this team hitting this? I guess I call it a stretch run. I don't know how to describe what this season is like.
More like a 20-yard dash, but
yeah.
I think this game was good for us today. We kind of have the blueprint now for how we need to approach game weeks and Saturdays after undesirable loss against Sam Houston. But I think we're going to do a good job of just putting the game plan in front of us and us executing it.
I want to ask you too about Zachary, your days at Zachary, and the show you used to put on with those guys for David Brewerton. You made David Brewerton look really good, as the head coach. He would joke up and say that same thing. And then Keelan Brown after you steps in.
And now Eli Holston, that's his name, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is he more of a drop back?
Yeah, he's more of a drop back, but he's still very talented.
Yeah. You guys have been like one person. Just a continuation of this great.
I guess we're QBU now at Zachary.
QBHS or
QBH? Yeah, we call QBHS.
So, but yeah, just what's high school football like? Because it's amazing, Lindsey, how many people I talk to that played in the NFL, and you would think, oh, high school, I forgot about that.
Right.
But they remember those games as much as anything else.
High school football is a lot different because I wouldn't say it's more fun, but you're a kid. Your perspective on things is different. Traveling traveling 5 hours to a playoff game is different than hopping on a plane and going to play another college team. And it's just it's a tight knit group. It's way tighter than college football, in my opinion, because these are kids you have class with. Like, I mean, it's high school. Like I had class with half my teammates. We'd joke around and take that same atmosphere into practice and kind of lock in, but still have that kind of joking manner.
Pizza after games, bus rides.
I think about every time someone says something about Zachary, I think about our fall camp. We go to a camp in Mississippi, and that's something that we've never done in college. It was fun. Like, it felt like I was in like a Disney movie or something, going to camp off in Mississippi, just practicing, but at the same time having fun.
And when we interviewed you for the Warwick Dunn Award, before you won the award, like when you were a finalist, you broke down in tears, and it was like genuine tears. It's like, there's no way this guy could have manufactured this.
I know I always get the limelight, but my team, my coaches, my students, my teachers, they're the ones that deserve it. They're the reason I am who I am, and I thank them so much.
Zachary was a special place for me because, showing up, I went in that school system from my youth all the way up until sophomore year. My first time in that school system was sophomore year of high school. So, I get there, I'm a new kid. I really didn't talk that first year. I didn't know anybody. And then just seeing people start to kind of take me under their wing, invite me out to stuff and make me feel like this is my home, this is my, my new family. It meant a lot to me. And, to take that and transfer on the football field and watch something special happen with a great coach and David Brewerton, it's something that make you break down in tears, because it's really meaningful to have a group of brothers that show they care about you, on and off the field.
What was the night? What was it like for you the night you won the Warwick Dunn Award?
It was amazing. I can still remember kind of every detail. Just seeing all the hard work that I put in, that my dad put in, that my mom put in. There's a lot of late nights for me and my dad. I mean, I'm talking about like nights before a football game where I just can't get a throw. I can't get a throw right, and he's like, "Okay, let's go in the parking lot. I don't care if it's 2:00 in the morning. We're gonna get it right." And just seeing that everybody's effort kind of transfer into that award, it meant a lot.
Yeah. It's just cool for me to be a part of, because I look back at some of the guys who were finalists and didn't win. Like the guy that won the Heisman this year,
right.
Devontae Smith, people like that. It's
amazing guys,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Patrick Queen and all these guys.
I mean, guys are doing great things on a high level. I just aspire to kind of meet meet them where they're at right now.
Let me ask you, what was it like for you when LSU, had that dream team in 2019? Did you watch? Were you rooting them on? I mean, what was that like?
I feel like I was basically part of the team. Like I said, Foster is a very close friend of mine. So he was back home in New Orleans. So I did everything with him. Kind of hung out with the team after the game, talked to Joe a little bit. And first of all, that guy, he's a heck of a guy, stand-up guy. The first time I met him was I came home for my first spring break in Missouri, and we had hung out, and then I left, went back to Missouri, didn't see him all the way until I came back for that, for the national championship. So he saw me, hey, what's up, Lindsey? How you doing? How's Missouri? So just like crazy, like why would you remember me? Right, you just won a Heisman. But it was cool. I'm glad. I still had friends on that team, and I was glad to see their hard work pay off and win a national championship that they deserved. So it was great.
So you have dreams of pro football? Oh
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I put in a lot of work and a lot of time into football, and I want to get the most out of it. I want to strap up and put an NFL helmet on, NFL jersey, and I want to play, and I want to play for a long time, and I want to win.
Yeah. You're 5'10", 220?
I've lost some weight now. We gotta fix that. I've lost some weight. I lost like 10 pounds. I say 5'11" too. I don't know who said 5'10". I'm like 5'11", 212 right now.
Okay, all right, yeah. On the roster, they've got you listed.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that.
You like heading surging up towards Leonard Fournette weight, before you.
No, we went home in the winter, and my mom does a great job of cooking, and then you look down at the scale, it's like, dang, I'm about to be a fullback. So I looked myself in the mirror and was like, it's time to work. So I shedded some pounds, because as a dual threat quarterback, I want to be able to kind of make some explosive runs too. So I cut some weight before the season started, and I think it's kind of showing.
Well, you certainly made one today in the first half. There was a guy, he was right there, and then it was bang bang, and you were around him in the end zone. So.
You could thank JJ McCleskey for that move.
Okay.
Yeah.
JJ is
he's coaching at Tulane right now, I think.
Okay. He worked with you on that?
Yeah. He used to come. He used to drive every Thursday at high school. My senior season at Zachary, and we would go to my dad's gym, and he would work on moves I would do in the game, and then they show up in the game. So I kind of got that muscle memory down.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations on all your success.
Sir, good to see you.
Lindsey Scott, great to see you, man, and we've got much more to see from this guy here at Nicholls State. He is tearing it up here in Thibodaux. Thanks for watching.
Go Colonels.
Go Colonels.